Hello and welcome to another episode of the AVR Kaiju Podcast. Today I am again joined by Harold of the FigureMania Show. Welcome, Harold. How you doing,
What's
man?
up? I'm doing good.
So today we're probably going to be talking about NECA figures and the whole new situation with Playmates Toys taking over from NECA and NECA losing the Godzilla license. How do you feel about this, Harold? Because I'm not
It,
happy.
to me, it's a disservice to the Godzilla fans, to be
I
honest.
totally agree.
NECA finally got the ball rolling. They were doing something right finally, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like with their new pieces of this guy and this guy, I mean it's a beautiful figure, like a nice hefty figure. The articulation, oops, okay, that's the
NECA quality.
NECA quality, yeah.
Yeah, no,
But
I've always
anyways,
loved the heft of NECA figures in particular.
yeah.
That's one of my favorite things about them. Like I'm probably one of the more picky people about NECA figures on the internet. I've criticized them to hell in the past, mainly because they are pretty pricey in my corner of the world. But I will give them that. The just the feeling of their figures is really special.
Yes. I mean, like, this is the way Godzilla figure should be. Nice and hefty. From across the room, you could tell it's a Godzilla figure. I mean,
Definitely.
comparative, like, size-wise to, like, the SH Monster Arts, I mean, these guys are bigger. They're heavier. They're sturdier, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, like, okay, like, what you saw, that's the first time that the tail popped off on me. But
Yeah.
that's basically the only thing that's going to pop off on you on your NECA figures, right? I mean, the arms are not going to pop off.
No,
I haven't,
definitely.
you know
Like,
what I mean?
if you had a Monster Arts figure, the whole damn thing can fall apart sometimes. Which,
Exactly,
which I don't
exactly.
even consider a criticism, because if you're experienced with articulated figures, then you probably should know how to actually deal with those, because you can make ball joints tighter, you can loosen them with heat, you can always tweak
Yes,
that stuff, and it's just it's so fixable.
yeah,
So it's not even, it's a non-issue to me, honestly.
yeah. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. You know what I mean? But like, if you had to compare one or the other, I mean, that's a fair comparison in my opinion. So
Yeah.
like, I'm never gonna get an 18-inch version of this guy now. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah, that is one of the
so
worst things.
I don't think NECA had any real control of anything. You know what I mean? Like when King of the
Probably.
Monsters came
Yeah.
around, they announced that they were making King of the Monsters figures, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what were the things that people wanted the most? What's that one figure that people wanted from NECA?
The big Ghidorah figure.
Exactly. Now, to be fair to them, they never mentioned that they were going to make a King Ghidorah figure. But if you
True.
say you're making figures about the characters of this movie, King Ghidorah is a prominent character of that movie. So everybody's going to think that you're making that figure, right?
He's the
Exactly,
main
right?
villain.
He's the main villain, right? And all of a sudden, like, oh no, we can't make it. We're not going to make it. And like, I think one of the excuses was, oh, it was just too big.
Which I don't
I,
buy that for a
I don't
second,
buy it at all.
because NECA have made some of the best large-scale figures. Like, I
Yeah,
recently picked up their Alien Big Chap figure, the quarter-scale one, as well as one of their older Predator ones. And
yeah,
they're huge things, and they're so well
yeah.
made. Like, NECA can and has done that, and
Yeah,
the whole...
I got a 1/4 scale. Oh, it's not here, but I got the Batman Arkham Origins Batman 1/4 scale, 18 inch,
Nice. Yeah.
huge figure. So like, they have made big figures. Okay,
Not to
so
mention
I
their
think
Pacific Rim line, they had some massive kaiju figures in that one, so it's not even like the demographic, which has, the
exactly.
same people are buying those Godzilla figures as the Pacific Rim ones, yet they seem to put out a whole bunch of Pacific Rim ones.
Yeah. So in my opinion, I think they weren't allowed to say, "Hey, we're not allowed to make a King Ghidorah figure because
Probably.
bad." So I honestly feel that's what happened. They were not allowed to make that figure. They weren't,
Yeah.
because if you think back, when NECA really started beefing things up is like when they started repackaging some of these guys with that beautiful box art and stuff, right?
Yeah.
It was Luminous. What's his name? Luminous. He also goes by
Heisenberg and
yeah.
yeah,
I was
I love his stuff. He's got a
yeah.
great channel. Maybe I can get him on the podcast one day.
Yeah, you should.
That'd be sweet.
I was watching his interview with the NECA people when when the King of the Monsters figures were coming out. And one thing that really stuck to me is like the person he was interviewing, they mentioned that they weren't allowed to, Bandai lifted certain restrictions that they had on NECA.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they were able to repackage these characters now with the beautiful box art and stuff like that, right? They weren't allowed to do that before.
Which is so odd because I just don't get why the old packaging was so just bad. I'm rebuying a lot of the figures these days just for the box, even ones that I'm not too fond of, just because I don't know. They're some of the best boxes, honestly, of any kaiju figures. Like I do have my issues with especially their earlier figures. I felt they didn't put their best sculptors up to the job, but the reissues of these things are so well done.
Yeah. So like getting back to like what that person was saying, they weren't allowed to make the boxes the way they wanted to. They had window, you know how it is, right? So that really clicked at me as like, maybe they're not allowed to do. That's the reason why they're not allowed to. We're not getting a King Ghidorah figures because they're not allowed. You know what I mean? People were bitching and complaining to NECA, partly rightly so. You know what I mean?
Because their excuses were paper thin.
Yes, but I think the real people, the ones that we should be really angry towards is Bandai.
Yeah, Bandai or Toho or somebody in that. In those
clearly, I mean, they've been making Godzilla toys forever and stuff like that, right? So I think they get first dibs and stuff. You know
definitely,
I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I mean, and then fucking Playmates.
I've heard nobody on the internet say anything positive about this whole situation, which is really, really funny, and I wonder how it's gonna backfire.
The thing though is, if you look at it like from a company standpoint, Playmates has been around for a long time. I googled Playmates and they've been around since '79. I think it was.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you look on Netflix, the Toys That Made Us, they started.
Yeah. I love that. I love that series. Actually,
put on the back of the Ninja Turtles line. Now, at the time, those were great toys. I mean, I had some of those figures.
Yeah. I like their Peter Jackson's King Kong figures.
Yes.
They put out those figures as well, and they were really nicely done. They had really nice packaging, actually.
They did. I never managed to get my hands on any of those, but yeah, I know what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So, but the thing though is, NECA has been around since '93, I think. They're still a really young company. And, in terms of like their influence, here in Taiwan, I can go to our Toys R Us and I'll find those friggin' Bandai, not those Bandai, those Playmates Godzillas that are being sold right now.
Yeah.
They're sold in the chain stores here in Taiwan. Okay? If in America, you can go to Walmart, Target, and stuff like that, Toys R Us, they'll sell NECA stuff.
Yeah,
okay?
I'm so jealous of that, to be honest. Because we have NECA, but they're a lot rarer. Then you have to go to like places that sell collectibles to get them, basically, and they come at a premium.
That's because NECA can only sell their products to chain stores within America.
Yeah.
Here in Taiwan, there's no NECAs in any of these stores. You have to go to like those collector, like the stores that my friends owns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, you'll find it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the point that I'm trying to iterate here is that in terms of like globally, their business, unfortunately, NECA just doesn't have that influence in the world market like Playmates has. Like they've been around for a long time. I mean, they're
up there with like Hasbro and Mattel and those sort of.
Their headquarters is based in Hong Kong.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. So I think like they sat down and they were like, okay, well, we want it was really about money, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You know, they make the toys a lot cheaper, and they can probably make a lot more with them.
exactly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the target audience that they're gearing towards is clearly for children.
I think you can make really great quality figures that are targeted at children, which is like my sort of main issue with Playmates is that I think with the resources that they have, I think they can put more detail and more effort into their figures without necessarily putting in more money. But I don't know. I'm not in their business and all of that, but they just come across as quite lazy, a lot of their stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
take their
I mean,
Shin Godzilla figure.
oh my God.
I
You know,
I actually really like that figure, but I like it in the same way people like The Room, for example, the movie. It's so bad that it's good kind of a thing.
well, I have a little fan. One of my students, he just bought that Godzilla because
Yeah.
he's 5 years old.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
he's an autistic boy, and before he didn't like Godzilla, but then now he likes Godzilla because he sees all my figures and stuff like that.
Oh,
Because
that's
at
so
first,
great. You're
like
spreading the love.
yes,
It's awesome.
so at first he was all dinosaurs. Now it's all Godzilla. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
awesome.
Everything he talks about is Godzilla. Oh, is this Godzilla a good guy? Is this Godzilla a bad guy? He's 5 years old. I go, listen, Fish. His name is Fish. I go,
Oh,
listen,
cool.
most Godzillas are bad.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Well,
you know
I
what I
don't
mean?
know. I think the ones that have the most impact are bad, but I think if you go movie by movie, he's either gonna be a hero or an anti-hero,
Yeah,
probably the
but he
most
doesn't.
heavily.
Yeah, but at his age, he doesn't understand what anti-hero is. It's either good guy or bad guy. That's
Yeah.
it. So I have to try and explain to him. Okay, like this Godzilla, yes, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
It's, you know what I mean? This Godzilla, well, sometimes he's bad, but then later he becomes good and
Yeah.
stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I have to try to explain it to him. You know what I mean? And like English isn't is not his native language.
hmm
So so now like I made a mega fan out of this little
Oh,
kid.
that's cool.
Yeah,
Strange that the first sort of main Godzilla that Playmates put out was a Shin Godzilla figure of all of them,
yeah,
considering the target demographic is kids.
yeah,
Shin Godzilla is an odd choice. Like,
yeah,
literally the one Godzilla that's, like, the least suited to that demographic, I'd say.
yeah.
The movie is a political satire. The
Uh,
design is meant to be grotesque and just
yeah,
hideous and,
yeah,
like, it's really odd. But
yeah.
they did it, and they created a spectacular meme with it, so God bless them.
Yeah. I mean, how he got into it is like one of my other friends. It was his birthday. His little kid, another little kid, 5 years old.
Uh-huh.
I gave him like we have the Final Wars Godzilla, the Playmates Final Wars Godzilla,
Oh,
right?
nice. Yeah, the big one.
And he just freaking went. He lost it, you know.
Oh, wow.
So then he shows up at my school with his Godzilla, and then
Uh-huh.
he shows up at my school with his Tyrannosaurus and stuff like that. He looks at his Tyrannosaurus, and he looks at the kid's his name is Leroy.
Uh-huh.
He's like, is that Godzilla? I go, "Yeah, Godzilla. And all of a sudden, Mommy, I want a Godzilla. And literally the next day he shows up with that same Godzilla.
Oh,
So
cool.
Godzilla was the Final Wars Godzilla, and now like he's on the hunt for all the Godzillas that he can get. So
Wow. Those figures must be selling well. I don't know what it's like there, but here we only have those figures in Kmart, and I've been trying to go to all my local Kmarts, and they're pretty much always sold out. Like there's the empty space on the shelf where those figures should be, and I've only really been seeing Kong figures left,
yeah.
or blank shelves. So people are buying them
Well,
up. I had to like
they
order
are,
online from the store to actually get them.
yeah. Well, here in Taiwan, I mean, they are selling those Playmates figures, but it's not like a big section. What you're thinking, you know what I mean? It's just this little tiny part of a
Oh,
shelf.
same here, same here. It's like the smallest space it can take is what it has, but yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, and I apologize to people watching. I keep doing this to my nose because I had an operation on my nose. Okay, so I just got out of the hospital yesterday and things. So just wiping my...
Kudos
Yeah.
to you for still doing the podcast with that whole stuff going on, because that must have been really
Yeah.
rough.
Oh, man. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, I'm here, dude. Yeah, so getting back to that, I mean, fuck, I mean, there is possibility that NECA could return to the Godzilla
I
life.
think it's likely to happen at some point, considering how popular their figures really were.
Yeah,
Like, especially amongst collectors, like, I know they're not as big in the sort of toy manufacturing range, but for people who actually collect figures, they're like one of the main names. In
yes.
the Western world, they seem to be a lot bigger than even like Monster Arts and stuff like that to an extent, and I can see them coming back at some point, hopefully.
Yeah. And the thing though is like I was watching like some of the comments online and stuff. For a lot of youngsters that live in the States in North America, I
Yeah,
mean, they want Godzilla products, but you know, SH Monster Arts, Bandai, and stuff like that, they don't go out that way. They have to get them online, or they have to go to a
yeah,
specialty store and stuff like that. So accessibility for those people is pretty difficult. And but NECA being U.S. based, you know what I mean? Uh, they were accessibility to getting anything Godzilla was easier for those youngsters. But
yeah.
now that it's totally done, they're like, oh man, now I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna have to spend like $100 on a Godzilla figure from SH Monsters or whatever, or friggin', you know what I mean? So I saw a lot of those comments, you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah,
it's harder for them to get really good stuff. I mean,
I've been seeing lots of comments of people who want to boycott the Playmates figures and be like, I'm not gonna buy figures because of this whole NECA thing. So we'll see how it backfires.
buy what you like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's only like out of that Playmates line the only figures that I want is that Skullcrawler, because I don't have a Skullcrawler. I want a Skullcrawler,
Yeah.
and I want. It's gonna sound weird, but I want that Kong with the axe.
I don't think it's weird. Like, I've been buying the Playmates figures that I've been if I see them, like I'll buy them. Like, I'm a collector of this stuff, so I even collect bootlegs just because it's part of the canon of figures and part of the whole experience as a collector.
Yeah,
Like if you go back to like figures from the 80s and stuff like that, and like Star Wars figures and stuff like that, a lot of like the really cheap shitty stuff that you would have sort of looked over as not collector's figures, nowadays they're treasured by people. So I think a lot of the same stuff, strangely enough, is going to happen with even these Playmates figures as time goes
yeah,
on. So I still, if it's Godzilla related, I want to get a hold of it, but I'd still prefer if we got NECA on the side as well. That's probably the thing
yeah,
that baffles me the most. Like, NECA has its own demographic, so I
yes,
don't really see why they had to get rid of NECA to focus on these figures, or who even know?
yeah,
Like, I don't think we have it confirmed if that's the case. I think people just kind of assumed it was. Like, it might have been a separate sort of issue, but people just kind of saw, oh, Playmates are starting to show up, and NECA has to go away, and they kind of
yeah.
linked them. But
Well,
I
you
don't
remember,
know.
like, they even mentioned, oh, we're taking a hiatus from Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so we all thought that they're just coming back. They're just
Yeah,
giving
that's what I
the other
thought.
guy time for, you know what I mean, because they don't have the license to Godzilla versus Kong. But then all of a sudden, news breaks out that no, they're totally does. Like, what
Yeah,
the? I was shocked.
me
You know what I mean?
too. I didn't
I
see
mean,
that coming as well.
look at these. They're just great Godzilla figures for their price point. I mean,
Yeah,
you could argue that this is better than the SH Monster Arts. You know, I mean, not as screen accurate by
yeah.
any sense. You know what I mean?
But it
But
has its merit. It's got
the
that weight to
value
it,
there. I mean, look, like
accessibility.
let me bring up the SH Monster Arts version of this guy.
Yeah, very nice. That Monster Arts is actually one of my all-time favorite Monster Arts, so I'm gonna have to be really impressed with the NECA one when I do get my hands on it to say that it's better, but they're definitely a nice comparison with each other.
I mean, this is bigger than this guy,
Yeah.
and I honestly like the paint more on this guy than on this guy.
Oh yeah. Some of the NECAs are painted pretty well these days.
Yes. So NECA was doing something right with their figures
Mm.
finally, you know what I mean?
I think literally when they were able to put those figures in the new boxes, around that time is when they started to peak with their stuff. Because I think in their first run of figures, the ones with the 2014 Godzilla, that was probably their best one originally because it was actually screen accurate. But I felt like like, I don't know, what do you think about their early stuff? Like their early Heisei Godzilla in the 84 and like those couple of first initial ones.
In their initial run, uh, I was I was like, no, SH Mod starts and that's it. I don't need
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But then I grew to like I grew to like them, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
And then, this guy here was my first NECA. This guy right here.
Uh-huh.
This guy. When I got this guy, I was so blown away with him. You know, like it looks so movie accurate in my opinion. Like it's
Oh yeah,
certain
it
angles,
is. I got
stuff
mine
like
right
that.
here because
The light, you know, hits and stuff like that. It's like, wow, this is an impressive figure. I think to this day, even now, this is the greatest articulated Godzilla figure that NECA has ever put out. You know, every Godzilla figure should be this size.
yeah.
Every Godzilla figure. You know what I mean? Like you could tell from across the room that this is a Godzilla figure better than seeing this from across the room. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like it's so tiny. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, granted that this is repainted and stuff like that, right?
Mm,
But the sculpt is there, you know. And the one thing that, like, if you can look on yours,
mm,
the 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 details of his dorsal fins,
mm-hmm.
they're too smooth. You know what I mean? When they
Yeah,
started
that's the
doing
one thing on the sculpt.
monsters, you know, they started they added in like the details of the dorsal fins and stuff like
Yeah.
that, which I like, you know. So I was hoping that NECA would release this guy, re-release this guy in an updated packaging, but with updated spines. I was waiting for that,
Me
you know.
too.
And then when the news broke that they're done, I was like, God damn. So I went right over to Big Bad Toy Store and I ordered this guy because I'm never getting, you know, like if you're lucky to get this guy or find this guy, he's going to be double the price, you know? So it's just a real shame, man,
Yeah.
you know?
Literally, when that news dropped, I was eyeing a second one of these figures on a site called popculture.com.au, which is like a local site that sells stuff like that. And they had one of these figures listed there for years at that point. I don't know how
Yeah,
many they had listed there, but they just had a listing that you could buy these for pretty much the retail price. And
yeah.
the moment that news dropped, I decided, okay, I'm gonna get another one to actually make it into this, like do the same project that you did, which I'll go into a little more in a second, but that
Yeah.
disappeared from that listing. So I think somebody had the same idea. They're like, oh, NECA's getting rid of the Godzilla stuff. Better buy him up. Instead, I actually happened to get lucky and a local store actually had one in
Uh,
stock in their like section, which again never happens. So it was like the
yeah,
best of luck, and it was also
yeah,
at retail price still. So
yeah.
actually, I have two of these guys now, and what I'm
Yeah.
planning on doing is using this guy here, which is the Jack Specific, the 30 centimeter one, the 2019 one, as a template. If I was being brutal, I would actually use the actual spines on this guy, but I can't do that. Like, I'm a dude who, even though I'm confident with my ability to custom figures and stuff like that, I wouldn't even repaint a Bandai vinyl or something like that. I like them
Yeah.
stock, no matter how bad they are at times. So I'm gonna keep this guy stock, but I'm gonna use this stuff as a template for making an update to this guy over here. So we'll see how
Yeah.
that turns out. You said that you might want a me to do a
Oh,
custom.
yeah. I mean, I customized mine, but I'm not I'm not an experienced sculptor. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
did the good. It turned out nice,
Yeah, you
but
still did a great job, dude.
yeah, you know. But I still want more movie accuracy. So I'm
Yeah.
waiting to how yours turns out. Then
If a lot of people are interested, then I might actually make it like proper out of resin, the actual spines and stuff like that, and maybe make them available to people like a little kit that they can mod their figure themselves. Like I'm also going to be redoing the feet on my one to be more accurate to the Jack specific one, because this one they did a
yeah,
great job of the feet on this guy, because
yeah,
they got the nice bigger claws from the 2019 design and all that sort of
right.
stuff. So I don't know. We'll see if anybody in the comments is interested. Otherwise, I'll do it like hand sculpt each one and not have them more. What
Yeah.
would you
Well,
call it? Like a kit
I
or
am
anything.
looking forward to see how yours turns out. I'm confident that you'll do a good job. That
Hopefully,
way, I'll send
fingers
you this
crossed.
guy. I'll send you this guy so you can recustom this guy, his fins and his feet.
It
You
would be an
know,
honor,
and
man.
yeah, and yeah, but like I was when King of the Monsters came around, I honestly thought they were gonna make a 12-inch tall version. You
It's
know what I
just
mean?
I
Of
don't know
the
why
guy.
they didn't. Like
But they
everyone
didn't
wanted
do
one, I bet.
it. Like, I asked NECA, "Oh, when is that figure gonna come out?" We have no plans of making that
Oh,
figure.
especially
What?
since they could use like 90% of the molds to just
Yeah,
recast the spines is all. Like
yeah.
modify them and
But if you look at the King of the Monsters mold, like it's still
hmm.
got a lot of the same articulation points. It's still
Yeah.
got a lot of range of movement, except the neck.
Uh-huh.
If you look at your figure,
I got mine
there's this
right here.
yeah. Look at the way this guy's neck is sculpted compared to your big one is sculpted. I can move the neck easily on mine, and I can't move the neck on this guy so much. You see?
Yeah. It might even be less to do with the sculpt. It might be to do with the length of the ball joints, little barbell joints they have in there. Who knows?
Yeah, but I don't know. There's just the range of movement in the neck is
Yeah,
not
there
there as
is. I'm just gonna show it on my other camera here so that people can see. But yeah, there is barely any movement in the 2019
yeah
one, which I didn't notice until you told me. But
yeah
then if we look at the 2014 one, he has a little bit more swivel to him.
yes. Like I don't know, they did something with the neck that I kind of didn't like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the 2019 figure.
I'm also not a huge fan of the paint job on the 2019 NECA figure as well. Like, I like that they tried to dry brush him more to make his details pop, but for whatever
Yeah.
reason, the paint on him kind of doesn't look as natural. Like, I have it's like a Sega Prize version, where
Oh yeah. Yeah.
it's like it's got a really beautiful sculpt, but it's crouched really awkwardly, and it's
Huh.
just a little bit smaller than this guy. And that guy is dry brush, but it actually, the paint works really nice on this thing. This guy, the paint kind of looks creamy, if that makes sense, which looks really
I
odd or
like the
dusty.
paint off that one. But what doesn't do it for me is the eyes.
Yeah, the eyes are really freaking weird on it as well.
Yeah,
They have like too much whites in the eyes, and just the little yellow dot is kind of a bit
exactly. You
goofy.
know. Yeah. So
I like the eyes on the big one. I don't think they're accurate to the film because they gave him like cat eyes or snake eyes with like just the
yeah,
yellow in the line, but it looks really good.
like my friend when he repainted mine, I mean,
Yeah. Nice. That
my
looks
friend
good too.
is really a good painter, but when it comes to eyes and teeth, and you notice I added some extra teeth on this guy.
Yeah.
I used toothpicks, you know, because I just didn't like that gap that was in his mouth.
Mm-hmm. Most figures don't do a great job of his teeth, to be honest, because he's got
Yeah,
very undefined teeth. They're just like these sort of bumps that come out of the side of his, what would be a lip, or you know what I mean, around
yeah,
the edge of his mouth.
yeah, yeah, man. So that's pretty much it, man. NECA R.I.P. man. Fuck, man.
Yeah. And like I felt like they were actually taking their line seriously in the last year or so, because
Yes.
when they released those boxes, for you could tell they actually got a decent graphic designer to actually put those things together. The clear packaging is nice, and they did that across the board with their other figures as well. Like all
Yeah.
their Predator and Alien figures, they converted those into those same boxes. So they just, it's not necessarily just the Godzilla line that they did, but they
Right.
They didn't half-ass it, is my sort of point. And
Yeah.
you could tell, I think, from the 54 figure that they changed sculptors.
Uh-huh.
Because the original couple of figures,
Were
I always, I
bullshit.
kept joking that they got an intern to do those figures. We could,
That the 84, that first 84 was just absolutely horrible. Like
yeah,
I didn't bother, you know what I mean? But I got this guy, and like there's still remnants of that.
because they
You know,
used a lot of the same sculpt, but all the new stuff is beautiful in that guy. I've actually recently picked that guy up too, and I haven't unboxed him, but looking at it, it does look really nice, a lot, a lot better. And the
yeah,
paintwork,
yeah,
he's matte gray, which is a lot nicer.
yeah. But like this is like their old tales.
Yeah, I don't like them at all.
Their new tales. Look at that, man. I mean, look at
Oh,
the
yeah,
you know.
yeah. There's like this transitional period. I think of NECA figures. Pardon me, need some water. My throat's getting dry. I think of NECA figures as the Godzilla line as having like three distinct periods. There was the early, it's kind of like the Godzilla series, the Showa, the Heisei, and the Millennium, but instead
Yeah,
we've got like the early stage where they had like the 84 and like that, I think it was the 94, the first Heisei one, which they
yeah,
remade into the Burning Godzilla and
yeah.
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
Space Godzilla versus Godzilla.
Yeah,
Godzilla versus Godzilla.
that's
Yeah,
right. And they also had the the 2014 figure as well, which was the only good thing that I'd say came out of that, especially the big one.
yeah,
But then they had their intermediate period where they had the 54, the GMK, and the Shin Godzilla, which
yeah.
you could tell they got somebody else to do the sculpts. They were getting better, but they
Yeah,
still had the sculpts weren't quite perfect. They had weird jaw articulation on a lot of them. The
yeah,
tails still had the bendy wire,
yeah.
which I'm not a fan of, and they tended to be too small.
Uh-huh.
And like especially the Shin Godzilla, the tail on that thing's I hate it. Uh, the
I was
50
that, that
the
was a tr- when I saw
54,
that thing, I was like, no, no
yeah,
thanks.
the the 54, people keep saying it's super accurate to the film. I think I
I
call
don't
bullshit,
think so.
but I love this figure. I think it has so much
Yeah,
personality. I actually really like it. So this
it's a
is
cartoon. It's to me, it's a cartoony version
yeah,
of
I
the
just so many
four.
reviews of people say that this is more accurate than the Monster Arts, and I just
No
laugh at
way.
them. I don't know what they're seeing. But
No way.
I still love this thing. And yeah, there we go. Mon
This green accurate 54 at this, in this range of this
Scale,
articulated
yeah. That one, I
scale.
love that figure. Sakai is a
Yeah.
freaking master at what he does.
Yes.
I'm
So
not,
you could tell the difference. This is sculpted by Sakai.
yeah,
You know, these guys are not.
yeah.
So
I mean, I wish they would credit the sculptors, because some NECA figures they do, under the box, they sometimes have the sculptor written. I don't think they do
yeah,
for these figures. Like, I got the Burning Godzilla, the reissue here. They don't have the name of the sculptor. I mean, this was probably the intern that I was saying sculpted this guy. No offense if the sculptor is watching. But yeah, I think they got a different person that's actually a lot more competent to do these figures, and I'm not sure if it's the same person that has did the like what I would call their like golden age of figures, where they actually took care in the suits, and that was the these two ones with where they started to do the articulated tails, the 64
yeah,
and the 62 was it? This guy
yeah,
here.
yeah,
Yeah, that guy. I think these are when they actually really took off and they started taking the line seriously. They put so much plastic into this guy's tail
yeah,
and so much texture, and I still have issues with this thing, like I said, because they are expensive in my country, so I could pay a little bit extra and get a Monster Arts basically. Like I could either like get two of these or a Monster Arts if that makes sense. So I've always been critical of NECA because it's not like in the US where you go and pay like 25 bucks.
right.
For me it's like 50, 60 bucks.
Ah,
So I'm critical for them for that reason, but for what they are and considering how available they are to people,
yeah,
they're such great figures, especially in this era.
right.
That's why it was heartbreaking when they actually announced that they're not doing more because they started doing good. Like
Yeah,
the figures that you've got there, I haven't got them yet. They look fantastic.
fantastic. Yeah, they were just they really started putting out quality stuff. You know,
Hmm.
it was not too long ago that they announced that they got the license to do like a ton of Godzilla. Like people
Yeah.
were under the impression that we were gonna get maybe some supporting characters and stuff
I
like that.
so badly wanted a Megalon
You
from
wanted,
them.
I wanted a King Kong.
I
I
want,
wanted
yes, that
a
would
Kong,
be
you
perfect.
know? But that didn't come. That wasn't the case. You know what I mean? So like, it was. But their messaging was very vague. Because I remember D-Man on his channel, he reported that that NECA got the license, the extension
Yeah.
to do all like they have free rate. I think it was that he said that they had free rate or like they could do any Godzilla figure they wanted, any
Hmm.
Godzilla figure they wanted. So I was like, oh great. Well, but does that mean we're going to get the supporting characters and stuff like that, right? Because I
Yeah.
mean, that's where the figure where the line will come to life if we get supporting characters for these guys. You know what I mean? Because we're just going to get Godzilla all the way
Yeah, you're just
through.
gonna have a bunch of gray figures everywhere. It's gonna get
Yeah,
tedious.
like at least with the SH Monster Arts, we have Ghidorah, we have Mothra, we have Rodan, and all those
Yeah.
Violante and all those things. You know what I mean? But like not the case with NECA, you know.
Yeah.
But I think they were just not allowed to do those figures. They were not allowed to do those characters. You know?
Probably, or like, I don't know if they just think from a marketing standpoint that'll be less popular or something. Because I don't know, I'm really deep into the fandom, so it's harder to see like what specifically would be more popular from somebody who's at the edges of the fandom. If
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. I mean, well, we'll never know now. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
personally, like if they could have done it, you know what I mean? Like make their counterparts to all these. I think you know what they would have made their money, but also it would have. I think it would have really hurt the market for Bandai. You know,
You think
so
so?
yeah, I think so
Yeah.
because if you look at this guy right here, okay, let me get the SH Monster Arts.
Okay, I'm gonna agree with you on this figure because I had to buy two of the damn Monsterats and they were one of the more expensive figures because the first one didn't arrive and I couldn't get a refund because the seller was an a-hole and there's
Oh,
this whole thing. So, and considering the quality of that NECA figure,
yeah,
yeah, I can see what you mean.
yeah. Like, yes, the suit accuracy to the movie is this guy right here, okay? But given for what you're getting, $25, this figure plus beautiful box art. You don't get beautiful box art with this guy.
Strangely enough, yeah, they really upped Monsterats on the box art and
Yeah.
when they changed it up.
For people that money is an issue, they're going to look at both. Oh, which one do I want more?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to go with the NECA because look at the beauty. You get an effect part with this guy. You
Hmm.
don't get an effect part with this guy. You know what I mean? All you just get the figure, and with this guy
Oh
you
no, I
get.
think the Monster Arts actually did come with like that sort of frosted beam, I'm pretty
Oh
sure.
yes, you're right. Yes, I
Yeah,
think.
that one did. A lot of theirs don't.
Yeah.
So the case still stands.
Yes, but when I got this guy, it was like the first time like you could insert the beam into this guy's mouth and you don't need the fucking stand.
Yeah,
Remember?
that was a really cool thing that they did.
I was like, oh man, like NECA's freaking Bandai's behind because like, with all their freaking beams, you need a stand and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
just annoying. You know what I mean?
And then they actually tried that with their 2019 Godzilla, and I felt they didn't really do a great job.
Yeah, like they had the right. I think they had the right idea, but the
Yeah.
thing was is that they didn't resculpt that effect part. You know what I mean? They just
Yeah.
used the effect part and they built around it. You know what I mean? Oh, just stick it in and then but.
You have to swap out the jaw with like the weird blue stuff, and it comes out at a weird
Yeah,
angle, and I don't know.
yeah, yeah. It came out at a weird angle and stuff like that. So like yeah, something was missing there. Like they like between the movies. I mean, that's Godzilla's of beam is much different
It
in 2000.
is. Yeah, that was my main criticism with that beam. Like, I wish they would have given him a much more powerful one for that figure, because
Yeah,
they're not the
because like
same.
yeah, because his beam in King of the Monster is like the Heisei beam, you know?
Exactly.
And in 2014, it's just a flamethrower. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I remember when I looking back at that film, and like there's that amazing build up to his initial beam, and then it comes out, and like I always almost want to laugh. Because it's like this huge build up, and he's like just pissing this thing on the muto.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
is that it? I mean, it
yeah,
makes up for it in the like the kiss of death kind of scene later on in the film, but still.
yeah. Anyways, man. Yeah, but like getting back to those playmates, a lot of it, a lot of things are getting spoiled, you
Yeah.
know, uh, for the movie that's coming. And my worst fears about the movie looks like it's gonna come true. You
Yeah,
know?
it's so up in the air right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Like from what we see in the toys and things, uh, it looks like like what I didn't want for this movie to be. I think that's what's gonna happen. You know?
Yeah, you think so?
Uh, yeah, because Kong with an axe. Why make him as big as Godzilla if you're gonna give
Yeah.
him an axe? You know? So obviously, if that axe is in the movie, I I'm just gonna throw my hands up in the air in the movie.
It's probably gonna be in there. People
Yeah,
are saying that they use Godzilla's spine or something as the actual axe blade, which is it sounds interesting, but it's kind of odd. I don't know.
it doesn't sound interesting at all to me because like,
Yeah.
okay, so let's say that is part of Godzilla's dorsal fin.
Mm,
How did he get it? You know what I mean? How, you know, because Godzilla fell from the sky
exactly.
on his back, and they didn't break, and he survived.
Yeah.
Okay, so those dorsal fins can withstand an unbelievable amount of beating. You know what I mean? Without breaking. You know, and what's a material that Kong can use as a handle and put a dorsal fin and to tie a dorsal fin onto it and start chopping at Godzilla's face. Like,
Just one of those redwoods they have in San Francisco or something. I don't know, man. I wish
I
they
don't
would
know.
do more stuff like in Pacific Rim, where you had the boat, the whole like
Yeah,
ship as a bat. I thought that was fantastic and stuff like that.
fantastic, but like if you look at a real tanker,
Oh
like
yeah,
a
no,
tanker,
it doesn't make sense, but
yeah,
when you're
you know what
watching that movie, you don't give a shit, you
I
know?
mean? Yeah, exactly. But the thing though is, like, if you look at the 2014, the way it was, you know, the way that movie was set up, it's our world, but with Godzilla living in it.
Yeah.
You know? But now with King of the Monsters, they kind of dipped their toe into the more factitious, you know, sci-fi. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Uh, and now it looks like a Godzilla versus Kong. They're just blowing the doors right open with just you know, the silliness and stuff like that. You know, like the thing though is like these titans, Godzilla, Kong, they're still animals,
Yeah.
right? And if Kong has the intelligence to make this weapon, you know what I mean? That's like getting close to like human intelligence. You know what I mean? Like what else can he build then? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like
exactly.
it's just I don't know, man. I'm already seeing the contrivances. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I'm less worried about that because I don't mind a movie going into like insane, unbelievable directions as long as the movie is entertaining, as long as you're invested in the movie. invested in the characters or in the action, kind of like Pacific Rim. You were invested in the action. There was so much creativity there. It was done
Yeah.
elegantly, despite it being stupid. Because like, but there's so many criticism you can throw at that film. Why not just put the same weapons as those Jaegers on a turret, or any of that
Yeah.
stuff? Or why not just set up a stuff around the rift at all
Yeah.
times and all that? It's like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But the film, you could tell it was done with enthusiasm and passion and elegantly. But then you
Yeah.
come to a movie which I'm worried that this movie could be similar to, which is like the second Pacific Rim, where it's equally as stupid, but like it's just like done without the same elegance and care and groundedness in a sense. So
Yeah.
I
Like,
get what you're saying.
yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I
My main point is I don't care what they do as long as they do it well, and I don't know, man. I don't I really we don't have enough, I'd say, to
yeah.
really know yet.
We don't have enough yet. You know what I mean? To know what's gonna happen. But like I said, I mean, if you're gonna make Kong the same size as Godzilla, why give him a weapon?
Mm,
You know? So just let the be give us a standard Godzilla and a standard Kong, go, and let's see what
yeah.
happens. But
I'm hoping the movie surprises us. I actually really hope it does well and that it's a good movie, because I want this franchise to continue, because it's pretty rare in the history of Godzilla to have this much of a spotlight in the Western world.
yeah,
So it would be a shame. And it's one of, despite these sort of concerns, this shared universe is probably one of the better sort of contrived universes made by any studio recently, trying to, capitalize on, like, the whole Marvel formula or anything like that.
yeah, yeah,
Like Universal tried that with the Universal monster films that nobody even remembers that at this point. DC have been stumbling. A whole bunch of other films are trying to do this stuff. Like there's the whole Cloverfield universe thing, which is kind of odd.
yeah. I don't know, man. I mean,
The films are consistent and to somewhat of a similar quality level, I'd say,
yeah, yeah,
relative to other franchises. So who knows?
yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, with the way things are going on right now, as I told you before we started filming,
Mm-hmm.
don't be surprised if they push the movie back again.
Yeah. I won't be surprised if they push like every movie that they've been pushing back even further, because like everything's still up in the air with the whole epidemic right now. Like it just keeps coming in waves. Like
Yeah,
they're about to keep like dropping restrictions on stuff, and then there's like, oh no, another outbreak. Everything's going back to panic, and it's like
yeah,
I don't know how long it's gonna go for, and I don't think anyone really does either, because this is something
no,
unprecedented. It hasn't really happened before in this modern
not at
world.
all.
Yeah.
That's for and like remember what I told you, like if this pandemic hadn't happened, we would be getting SH Monster Arts Godzilla versus Kong figures right now. You know?
Hopefully. Kong has an interesting, very complex sort of legal issues with his merchandise and figures. So I wouldn't be surprised if they would like do the same thing with the Muto figures and not put
Yeah.
out a Kong. 'Cause they didn't put out a Kong for Kong Skull Island, which I thought was
No.
odd.
Well, yeah, it was really odd.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a missed opportunity. Everybody was waiting for that. You know what I mean? I was waiting for that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We didn't get it. And then Tuck Tist from Nine Modelism made his
Yeah.
own. I was quick to jump on that, and
So was the other guy who I did the initial podcast with.
yeah, and now there's another company, that's doing Budo figures.
Have you
So
heard any news about when their figures are gonna be ready or coming out? Because I pre-ordered them and then just radio silence on that end since then.
uh, I messaged that guy a couple of weeks ago, and maybe around
Oh,
September,
okay.
at least for me, because I'm number 8 on that list.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm probably number
So
80 on that list, so...
yeah. So I jumped in early, thankfully, and
Oh, that's really good.
like if you look at the photos of those prototypes, first of all, I mean they're 3D printed, but there's no there's no sculpting detail. It's very smooth. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And when you get them in hand, they're not going to be painted.
Yeah.
They're not painted. So like, if you're a person that doesn't know how to paint or whatever, you're wasting your money because you're gonna get this thing and you're like, oh, what the hell is this? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
So you have to, because once this comes in hand, you're the one that's gonna have to bring this thing to life. Actually, you know what I mean? You just have the body and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Which is more than enough to what compared to what's out there, right? But like for me personally, like I can't wait to get my hands on this guy, give it to my friend who's an awesome painter. I mean, he painted this guy right
Yeah.
here. Then I'll do toy photography with those guys. I mean, I've been working on dials for those. You know what I mean? That I can't wait to do, and also the NECA Cog. I'm working on a dial for that guy too.
Oh, awesome.
I'm behind because that is supposed to come in September. That might
Uh-huh.
get put, who knows? But I don't know how far I'll get.
You know, on the, it's weird because it's the page that I made, but I don't even remember what it's called because the name is so tedious alone. The Godzilla custom figures budget something or another. You know, the diorama page that I run on Facebook.
Yeah,
Have you seen like Apollo Hammond is the guy's name? He has the diorama with Peter Jackson's King Kong the Wall. He's been working on
yeah,
that for like a year or more now, and it's coming together slowly. The thing is awesome.
it's awesome. But like, I asked that guy.
Yeah.
I go, hey man, because he's using like real materials and stuff like that to decorate that thing,
Yeah.
right? Putting real rocks on it and things, right?
I think he's like
I asked him,
making like castings of rocks now and stuff like that, and a lot of plaster
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
how much does that thing weigh? He's like, that thing weighs 200 pounds. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Well, you're gonna need
Imagine having that on hand to do your toy photography. Like, that'd be a great
for
collaboration.
it would be good for a display, but for toy photography, it would be impractical
You think
because
so?
yeah, given the space that you have, like if I have the space, I can make it work, right?
Oh
But
yeah.
I this room, you know what I mean? So for me, it would be pretty impractical, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So to move it and things, if it's that heavy, you know what I mean, and it's that big and stuff, like I need space for something like that, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So why, like all my stuff that I have, it's not fixed on any base or anything like that. So I can take it apart, put it back or whatever, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And have things fixed in place because later I'm gonna just take it apart. If I have things in place that I need place to something to put it and things I have to be careful not to, you know what I mean? So it's just an extra headache, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That makes sense. Actually, just occurred to me because I watched a documentary on the making of the original King Kong a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking about all the techniques that what was the animator's name? Willis O'Brien
uh-huh.
used to do the stop motion stuff and like the stages to actually make the jungle look really dense and to frame everything, and how they used a lot of projection and stuff to add little movement and stuff in there. It was all fascinating, and it really reminded me of like the way you add depth to your photography. They had like various sort of jungle elements built, and
Yes.
if you look at it from the side, it's like all sort of like spaced apart to like
Uh-huh.
give it an illusion of depth. And they use like they shot through bits of glass which had like painted leaves and stuff on it and vines at the front. And yeah, I think you would if you haven't seen that documentary, it's definitely worth checking out because it's really
I know because I've studied that quite a bit. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
the for what I've got planned, it's basically a clone of that. Basically, you know what I
exactly,
mean?
yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait to get that figure in hand. Hopefully, I can finish in time. You know, because I'm building the wall right now.
Oh, cool.
So I'm not going to show that to you. I don't want to show that.
Okay,
You
it's a
know,
surprise.
it's
Are
a
you gonna
surprise.
spoil which era of Kong Wall it is, though, or is it your own design or something?
33.
Nice.
30.
I'd love to see a nice version of that one.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm really excited about that figure too.
yeah, I got a couple of shots in mind that I want to. That's you know one of the things I like to do is like when figures are on the way and I know how much time there is, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Is I like to plan out my shots and stuff like that. If I don't have it, then I build it, you know what I mean? And then that's
Yeah.
like that middle of I'm building. I already built something for my Mudo shots.
Nice.
You know what I mean? I just need a few extra little figures and stuff like that. And now I'm working on the Kong. So yeah,
Well,
so that's
very
what I'm doing.
cool.
You know.
One thing that I'd love to one day do if I had the space would to actually make like a Kong diorama. What I love about the Peter Jackson film is that they fleshed out the like 33 film's sort of jungle so well and gave it so much personality. I just love the way that it's got all of these like ancient stone structures that have been just overgrown and just the kind of that foggy depth to that jungle and that would be a phenomenal thing to like build in a diorama. Like I could picture you
Yeah.
doing that and like putting like the actual fog in there or like the smoke like you do with some of
Yeah.
your shots and that would look really cool.
Speaking of smoke and fog,
Yeah.
I gotta get myself a new device for that because my vape conked out and I
Oh,
can't get it.
okay.
So like I'm without that and I tried. I've got this spray that most toy photographers use for mist, but it's just not the same. You know
No,
what I
is
mean?
it? I didn't
No.
even know that was like an official product or something that you could get. But that's
Yeah,
cool.
you can, but like
Well,
no,
have you thought of like an actual fog machine or something like that, or
yeah.
dry
There
ice?
is fog machine that I can get stuff. So I'm in the process of getting the funds together for that.
Experiment with stuff. I remember one of the things that I really like about the first Alien film, an effect they did is, you know, at the very end of the film where there's the like jet engines of the little escape pod where the alien kind of burns to death in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That was actually just water that they had streaming and a lights passing through that and like it's a really creative effect. So
yeah.
perhaps you could come up with some new effects and stuff like that with different mediums and kind of trick us into thinking it's different stuff.
I have something in mind that I'm gonna start working on eventually. Using real water and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So just have to wait and see. So last year I was part of the Exclu's. I have it here. Hold on a second. So right here.
Oh yeah.
So 100 project. This is the
Yeah, you
one that
showed that in the last episode. Yeah.
yeah. So I registered for 2020. I don't know if I'll get picked for that yet because like they pick people.
Oh
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Uh, we'll see what happens if I get picked. To be in the 2020 issue or not.
Good
If I
luck.
do get picked, then I'm going to be working on something special for that. And this is the big fold that I've got to make the Kong
Oh,
diorama.
nice.
So I still have I got my work cut out to say the least.
There's a lot of good inspiration for stuff like that online. Like when I started getting into making the dioramas and stuff like that, I found that there's the best place to look is the train model people, the
Yes.
miniature railroads, and the war game people
Yeah.
who make like terrain for that. That's a really good place to start with if you're doing something
Yeah.
like that.
I watch some of their videos, like I forget the name, the Train Town or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And don't spend money on woodland scenic stuff. Just there's ways of doing stuff cheaper. Because I
yeah,
remember watching those videos and be like, dear God, how much do these people spend on like a pack of dirt in a bag? Because I've seen that stuff in stores and it is not cheap.
yeah. Just get it outside. Just get
Yeah,
it
no, I
outside.
use a used coffee that I dry, like coffee
Yeah.
grounds for dirt and
Uh,
stuff like that. Building models and stuff like that, just out of those sort of things, you can really have a lot of fun with. I wish I had the space to do more. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm running out of space in my room as it is. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, did you see that gigantic series Birding Godzilla?
Yeah.
I would like to get my hands on that, but I just do not have the space for that figure. You know what I mean? And I
Is
want to get
do you mean the 2019 or the 95 burning?
the 2019.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm happy with this guy already. I just got my hands on that guy. So like, my friend who owns the toy shop 2 blocks away from me, he's gonna get that figure. So I'm just
Wow.
gonna wait to get it so that I can just do toy photography with it and
Oh,
stuff. So,
nice.
yeah. So I don't need to get it per se, you know. But friggin' Bio SH Monster at
Oh, look.
Biolante color and the new
I've got I've got
GMK.
that one on pre-order. I am
Yeah,
oh dear God, that thing's gonna bankrupt me.
I okay, like I have it right here.
Oh, you do.
This is the SH Monster art.
Nice.
This now let me show you the X Plus.
Yes. Yeah,
Wait,
I've seen your recent photos of that thing. They look so cool.
I mean, this would be the better size. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like, yeah, like if I could get my hands on this guy, I would over this guy here.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I mean this is beautiful. Like if you saw my latest photo with Godzilla '89,
Yeah.
that's more accurate. It's like scale accurate. And I'm using this Biolante, not the SH Monster
Oh yeah, because
Biolante.
their Monster Arts one, they made it in the KKK version, the biggest scale, so it doesn't fit with.
Yeah,
And yeah, same. The NECA one's also a little bit big as well.
yeah. So yeah, man. I mean, I am gonna get that Biolante and the Radiant GNK because I don't have an SH Monster Art. So I only have the NECA one.
Oh, okay. The Monster Arts is a really cool figure. I wish I would get that one, but like, it's just a repaint and like, so I've got
Yeah.
the original, so I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if I had the original, I probably wouldn't waste. I probably wouldn't get it, but
Yeah.
because I don't have the original, like I did a review on that guy when I just first started doing YouTube, and I just couldn't get my hands on him. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
ever since then, I regret not getting him. So then when NECA came out with theirs, I was like, I'll just get this guy because it's like the next best thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No,
So
I have my issues with that one, but I think it's a really cool figure.
yeah, yeah,
Speaking of
and then,
X Plus, I pre-ordered the Sakai 1984 figure, the
yeah,
Godzilla, like at the almost like a year ago now, whenever the pre-orders opened up, and then the whole virus thing happened, and Japan just couldn't ship anything. And so just like maybe like a week ago or so, I had to finally cancel that pre-order just because the additional shipping cost to actually, because Japan canceled all the like affordable shipping options to Australia for whatever reason, the additional cost just makes that figure so expensive. It would have been like $500 plus they upped the price because the stock market or whatever changed or the currency exchange got worse in the time since I initially pre-ordered it, and it's just like that figure's not worth $500 plus. So I'm bitter about that because I was so hyped for that figure for so long.
it's a nice figure. Like my buddy's got it. I mean, I did toy photography with that figure. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
did a figure. It's a beautiful figure. You know, but
I'm just pissed because I pre-ordered that thing. Like I was like on top of things, and it's just like
yeah,
they screwed me over.
yeah, man. I mean, with the way things are in the world right now, it's just fucking, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know. But one figure that is coming that I'm looking forward is the 25 centimeter King of the Monsters Godzilla.
I
The
pre-ordered that on Big Bad Toy Store, so
oh,
hopefully the postage on that won't bankrupt me. But I'm actually really excited for that one as well.
yeah, yeah. So I have the Rick on pre-order.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
gonna come to my buddy's store, so I'll go get it when it comes. You know.
Oh, awesome.
forward to the light up version, to the light ups and things to see how that looks and stuff. I also pre-ordered the SH Monster Blue Godzilla.
Oh, cool.
I'm only getting that one is because the box art, because I like the box art, and it's
I
got
like the box art too.
the art from Nichikawa,
Uh-huh.
art. So that's really the only reason, one of the reasons why I'm getting that figure. You know what I mean? It's because it's got Shinji Nishikawa's art and the box art for that. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of Shinji Nishikawa's art,
Yeah.
and it's just gonna be a blue Godzilla.
You can use it with that like blue dome effect that you had for his nuclear pulse.
Yeah, that's one of the shots that I'm thinking of doing that. But after I'm done with that shot, I don't know. I'm thinking of painting that Godzilla up like this guy here.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, but more movie accurate. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because like in the movie, he doesn't look like this. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? This is just a filter version. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I want a movie, more closer to the movie. Like I saw a picture of a guy. He painted his up. He painted this guy up like the movie. It looks fantastic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't want to touch this guy. Like I love the way this guy looks already. You know what I mean? So I
Uh-huh.
touch this guy. You know what I mean? So I think what I'm gonna do is that when I get that blue Godzilla, after I do my shots that I want with that guy, I'm gonna paint that guy up. And just leave the blue dorsal fins and all that things. I don't know, man. I'm just
Good luck with that.
yeah.
I'm again one of those people who just would not touch a Monster Arts.
I, I man, look at this.
Yeah.
I've got so many SH Monster Arts Godzilla 2019 figures.
Oh, wow.
They're each painted differently.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like I don't know what it is, but I really love this sculpt. You know what I mean?
It is a great sculpt.
Yeah,
They knocked it out of the park with that one, I'd say.
yeah, and like, look, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I got a sixth one coming.
Oh, wow.
So I got 6 of those. I got a sixth one coming of that, man. So yeah,
Very
but
cool.
yeah, so that's it. I mean, for figures and stuff. I mean, I got that X Plus coming. I got the SH Monster Arts, and that's pretty much it in terms of Godzilla. I haven't pre-ordered anything else.
Yeah.
So
I've just got like I said the two NECA figures that I still haven't got, the 89 and the 2002.
yeah,
Or is it 2003?
I think it's 2003.
Does he have the scar? He has the scar.
Yeah, he's got the scar on his chest.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, 2003 then.
yeah,
I want if they were again, if NECA were still going, they could have just easily made a 2002 variant by getting rid of the scar.
if SH Monster Arts decides to make a 2000 like this version with the
Yeah.
scar, like I think I'll pass. You know what I mean? Like, look at unless that figure comes with something special.
Yeah, there's no point if you have the original one.
Yeah, it's an easy pass. I mean, like he's bigger. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's just a nice figure already. I mean, yeah, it's an easy pass. Like if SH Monster Arts makes their version, you know what I mean? It's just gonna be this guy all over again, but with a scar on his chest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I think they're reissuing that guy anyway, just as is, so
yeah, yeah. So we'll see.
mm.
I don't know. Like that Biolante and the GMK, that was their plan B. Remember I told you?
Yeah, because they're not making the Godzilla vs. Kong stuff till later.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. Like even after that, because if you remember almost a year ago, they teased us like a Tamashi booth, but they had the suit of Godzilla 2004, Final Wars
I
Godzilla.
so badly want them to do that suit
Yeah.
design.
So, but they haven't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
They might. I don't see them like stopping anytime soon, so oh yeah,
no.
an 84 would be the best from them actually. That would make
Yeah.
up for me not getting that X Plus if they get a Sakai sculpt 84. Oh, that would be phenomenal. Like I have,
Came with a Super X. That's great.
yeah. Oh, they're a little light on accessories these days, but yeah, that would be the best.
Yeah.
I I have a bootleg of the Bandai vinyl which I modified, and it is. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's pretty screen accurate for a Bandai vinyl, especially. So I'm
Do you
in
have
like no rush to get one, but I really love that design.
Do you have it on hand to show?
Yeah, hold on a sec. So I've done a whole video on it.
Oh yeah, that looks great.
So yeah,
That looks
this thing was hideous before I updated it because it was just like solid black vinyl with hideously painted stuff because this was a bootleg that I got from
right.
eBay. Uh, a pretty pricey bootleg too, actually, for a bootleg. But the sculpt was all there. This is probably one of
Right.
Bandai Vinyl's best Godzilla sculpts. It's like very movie accurate. So all I did was I totally repainted him, and I actually modified the teeth and the inner mouth because you know how Bandai Vinyls have the what do you
Yeah.
call it? The like the teeth are like blocked in.
Yeah.
I'll show a close up to my like other camera so you can't see it, but the audience can. What it looks like now. So yeah, I'm really happy with this guy. So my advice, if you're in a rush to get a really good 84 figure, this one is the way to go. He's so much better in sculpt than the NECA figure, even the redone NECA figure, and
Yeah.
he's
I
I
saw that
he's
here in Taiwan. I regret not picking them up. If I ever
oh
see them
really?
again, pick 'em up,
They
yeah.
occasionally come up on eBay from China, but this guy cost me like $40 or something. The first one I got, his tail was messed up. It was like deformed and it was like pointing down. I
Uh,
complained about it. They sent me a free second one, so I've technically got a second one of these lying around with a fucked up tail, so I could always just make another one.
I'll second one off you if you can fix the tail for me.
Oh, I could even like do them up for you if you like. That's
Yeah,
something we could do.
okay. All right.
Awesome.
I'll buy that second one off you then.
Awesome. Yeah, if you're interested, I do have like the full video on that thing somewhere on my channel. I can link you to it later.
All right. I'll look for it. I missed it for sure. So
Yeah. Um,
yeah.
oh, I wanted to ask you about the recent the school thing you did where you were teaching kids the toy photography. I saw that on
Oh
your Instagram. It looked really cool.
yeah. So we had a week of activities at my school, at my own private school.
Yeah.
And Tuesday, which was the second day, was Godzilla Day. So
Wow.
I had my
Was that your idea?
uh, it was, but my wife also wanted to she wanted something special, you know what I mean? And she thinks, oh yeah, this would be really good for the kids
Oh,
because like
nice.
kids are turning on to Godzilla as soon as they come to my school, like right when you walk into my school
Yeah.
shelf, and I got my Bandai vinyls, Godzillas. I got my 24-inch tall Jack specific
Oh,
Godzilla.
that's so cool. I didn't know you had your stuff like in the classroom as well. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, and I got my toy photography on the walls too, like
Wow.
portraits stuff like that, right? So like as soon as kids come in, they're like,
Jeez, you're like indoctrinating them right in the classroom.
yeah, I am, and like that day, like the kids, they brought their own cameras and stuff like that. And they were so, why do we want to take pictures? We want to take pictures and stuff like that. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But like I had to tell kids, do not touch these because they're not toys. You touch them, I will break your fingers.
Oh, dear God. Yeah, I'm always really nervous when I got someone like my little cousins or whatever coming over to my place because I'm like, oh dear God, I don't want to be like mean to the kid and be like,
Yeah,
okay, don't touch these things because if I was a kid, like that would
yeah,
like break me internally if I couldn't. So it's always like this
yeah.
conflict thing, but I'm like, I'm not gonna give a kid a monster arts to play with.
No, that's why like I have my Bandai, so
Yeah.
my Bandai over there because they can grapple, they can smash those all they want. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And,
Actually, NECA figures are pretty good for that.
yeah, but I have two NECA figures over at my school right now. It's a repainted of the Nintendo Godzilla.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I have that one. I repainted him up before I got this
Oh
guy.
yeah,
You know,
I really like that figure. That's one of NECA's like clever ideas, I think, because they use
yeah,
the hideous '84 sculpt, the initial one, but it actually works really well as the Godzilla Monster of Monsters design.
yeah, yeah.
And the box, that was the first one with the box art as
Yeah,
well.
you're right. You're right. Like I wasn't a fan of that particular figure. It's like I don't want a friggin' video game version of
Okay,
that.
I'm a
So,
fan of that design because I like I was into the creepy pasta about that like Nintendo one if you haven't heard of it.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I wanted because when I saw that figure, I saw the dorsal fins on that figure. I was like, that's how they should have made those dorsal fins on
Yeah.
on figure. So I was like, I want that figure, and I want to customize the dorsal fins, and that's what I did.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
cool.
So that figure's over there at my school right now. The kids love playing with that one. And I do have the 2019 of this guy.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Hated him. I don't know if you remember, if you recall, I did a toy photography of a birding Godzilla, but it was NECA. It was that the one that you have, but repainted it
Oh,
bird
a custom.
Godzilla.
Nice.
So I customized that, and that's over there right now. But I don't let the kids play with that because they keep freaking smashing that on, and like the paints have chipped off and
Oh,
stuff like.
cool.
Go on the stuff. You're not playing with that anymore. You know what I
Okay.
mean? These kids don't freaking hit my toys like that. You know, you could smash it, but like remember, they're not yours; they're mine.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, how did they do with the photography themselves? And do you have any of their photographs? Like, did they take it with your camera or just like...
Yeah, I mean, if you on my Instagram, I put up some of the pictures that they took.
Okay.
Uh, you know, so I basically did the setup for them and stuff, right? I mean, I did the best I could because it's not my setup. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because here in my room, I have two tables instead of one. I've got this apparatus around my table for lights and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had a what's the word that I'm looking for? I had to
Improvise.
yeah, I had to improvise and stuff like that, but it came out pretty nice. You know what I mean? You know, they took the vinyls, the Bandai vinyls and stuff like that, but then some of the kids, oh, I want to take pictures of that one, the gigantic series Godzilla. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah. Okay, we'll try and work this out and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But I go, no, you can't take a picture because like it's just too big or whatever. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? So good, but they really liked it. You know what I mean? So like the oldest ones were like 8 years old. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, guys, this is how to make depth and stuff like that. You know,
Uh-huh.
lots of things, and they were really enjoying it. So yeah, which is nice.
Oh, they must have had a blast. I wish my teachers were like that back in primary school.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. Like that whole day was Godzilla, so I was giving them a little lesson of like the history of Godzilla. We watched some Godzilla videos
Oh,
and stuff.
really?
Showed them like all the monster scenes of Godzilla King of the Monsters and stuff
Uh-huh.
because they're to sit through the whole movie. You know what I mean? They just want to see the monsters, so I show them the monsters. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Did you go through like did you put like a diagram of like the Showa and the Heisei and the Millennium series and how they all this
Did
timeline?
all that. I showed them all of it. Like this is how Godzilla was, and like through the years, Godzilla has changed. His story has
I'm just
changed.
picturing like that scene from like School of Rock where like Jack Black's character has like the big chalkboard of all the different bands and how they relate to genres and stuff, but except for it's you and with Godzilla stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
kids were getting,
awesome.
so it was pretty cool. And we also did a Godzilla craft, like a paper craft of Godzilla,
Oh,
and
nice.
stuff like that. So kids got to take that home and stuff. So it was a really nice time. Doing a week of summer camp, I mean, it was so draining because at my full time job, I did a summer camp,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I go on vacation, and then I have to do a summer camp at my school for a week. I was just drained, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like my wife's like, okay, we're not doing this next year,
Oh
you know.
god.
But and then the following week I had my surgery and stuff, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
didn't have a vacation, you know what I mean? So like, yeah, so I'm just doing the best I can, you know what I mean? So like today, tomorrow, probably even Monday, I'm not going into work because I need to get the stuff taken out of my nose and
Yeah.
stuff.
I hope you get some time to relax. And again, thank you so much for actually taking the time to do the podcast. I super appreciate it.
Yeah, buddy, you're welcome. Like I like last time we did this. We did the interview. I really enjoyed that time. Just to talk about all things Godzilla and things. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe we should do this more regularly. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
definitely,
So
I'd be up for that, and that's why
yeah,
I'm doing this podcast. Part of the reason, just to get to know other Godzilla fans, because there's nobody here. I don't have the
yeah,
luxury of having physical people in my area that are interested in this stuff. So you got to look elsewhere online and stuff like that.
yeah. I mean that was the case for me when I lived in Canada. Here in Taiwan, I mean, I know a lot of people that are Godzilla fans, but it's the language barrier. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? For me and things. So. But some of them are pretty good. Like they can speak English,
Yeah.
all right, English, and have a conversation and stuff. So the things that a lot of them have, a lot of Taiwanese people, they know me through like the toy photography and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like friends with me and stuff. So like, oh, if you come to Taipei, come, you must come visit me. Come visit me. I was like, okay, So
How are you with the language there? Have you learned a lot, or is it a struggle?
it's a struggle. The thing is though, like I've been fortunate because my wife's whole family can speak English.
Oh, that's really, yeah, really good.
Sister-in-laws can speak English. My father-in-law can speak English. Everybody can speak English to me. You know what I mean? So there really hasn't been a need for me to speak Chinese because everybody around me can speak English. You know what I mean? Everybody's
Ah.
well
Oh, do
educated.
they, so they speak Chinese in Taiwan?
Yeah, they speak Mandarin. You know,
Ah,
uh,
okay, I didn't know that. That's cool.
like if I ever need help with Chinese or whatever, I have my wife or my sisters to help me and things. You know what I mean? So like, and I'm an English teacher first. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, the parents when they come to my school, they really like the fact that I don't speak Chinese
Really?
because
Wow.
that the kids to speak to me in English. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Because when they speak in Chinese and stuff like that, sorry, I don't know Chinese. You have to speak in
Oh,
English.
wow. Yeah, I was
that,
that's actually something I wanted to ask you about, the language barrier with the kids, because I imagine like I did Japanese in high school and in primary school as well, but like if the teacher came in not knowing how to speak English initially, we would have been screwed to start off. So like they must have had some sort of a background, I imagine, beforehand,
yeah,
or
they do have it. You know what I mean? But my wife is also there too. You know what I mean? So like, if
oh,
things
okay, great.
know that she's there. You know what I mean? To like here in Taiwan, like in the bushy bands, so what they call cram schools, there's an English teacher, and then inside the classroom, there's also a Chinese teacher too.
Ah, okay.
So that's how they do it. There's like a two two teacher system. You know what I mean? One English, one Chinese. So for me, like I'm the main teacher. I'm the only teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And but when I'm doing classes or if a kid's just not understanding or anything like that, then I call my wife over. Hey, tell this kid
Yeah.
whatever. She does it. You know what I mean? And that's how we've been doing it. And actually, we've seen a lot of improvements from our students that their English is really picking up because they're forced to speak English more in my school.
That
You know
that
what I
makes
mean?
sense. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. Like,
So yeah,
I was curious about that because I've always wanted to like visit Japan and places like that, but the one thing is like the language barrier is what I'm most nervous about.
I know a lot of people that have lived in Japan and worked in Japan, and now that I know what I know, it's a good thing that I ended up here in Taiwan.
Yeah?
Uh, yeah, because to my understanding, according to my friends that have worked and lived there, it's pretty rough. They work you like a dog in Japan. You know what I mean? Because they have this culturally, they have these standards that you have
Okay.
to
Uh-huh.
find, that the respect and things like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and yeah, I just I couldn't live like that. You know what I mean? So like, so yeah, I'm here. It's just much more lax, and
Oh, that's good.
people are very very nice. Like Japanese people, they're nice too, but they're a little bit more reserved. They're a little colder.
Yeah.
So Yeah, so I'm grateful that I'm here. To visit Japan is great, but to live in Japan is a totally different story.
Oh, okay.
So that's it. Is there anything else that we need to talk about,
um,
or?
Nothing that we really need to talk about. I did kind of want to let you know where I'm at with some of the other and the audience as well, where I'm at with some of the custom work that I'm working on at the moment.
Uh-huh.
So again, it's coming along really slowly, just because both I'm incredibly lazy and other stuff is going on, so I have to fit it around that and when I have the energy to get to it. But I'm doing a lot of sculpting these days, which is fun, good, because something that I kind of haven't been doing for a while. So I already
Are
showed
you a
you.
are you a self-taught sculptor?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
I
that's awesome.
was actually recently I was going back and scanning in a lot of the drawings that I've done over the years, and I just have mountains and mountains of drawing. So the way I taught myself is basically when I was a child, I was just obsessed with drawing. So that was my hobby. So I naturally kind of went over into sculpting as well. So
Uh,
that's where that comes
I
from.
think I'm a fan of sculpting. I mean, it's like being fans of figures and stuff like that. Like, if you're a sculptor, like you can sculpt your own customs and stuff like that. Like I,
Yeah, exactly. But bear in mind, like I always have this in my mind that I can. It's just like if I want something, I have to like actually dedicate a lot of time to it because I go pretty slowly at this stuff. Like I made a couple of, like I only have a handful of actual finished customs. Like I have
uh-huh.
a Megalon and some like older Godzilla ones which I'm not too happy with. And then I have like a GMK one which is coming along really well, but then like it started to crumble just because the clay was getting so old before I could actually oven bake it and stuff like that. So
Oh,
they take a long time, but I really want to get more into it because kind of like you were saying in the previous episode, like your main contribution to say the fandom is your figure photography and the stuff that's more creative. And I
yeah,
think like my customs could be that. So like
yeah.
here's a little Mothra one that I've been working on recently.
Oh, yeah.
And like I told you earlier, I'm probably gonna make this into either like a magnet or like a pin or like maybe even jewelry and stuff like that. I've started mass producing. By mass producing, I mean like very slowly, one at a time. I've got a
Yeah.
whole box of it here, but like these little things here, which I don't know if you could see that.
Yeah.
I'll just show the
Uh,
audience. These are actually based off a bronze uh, metal one that I made in uni a couple of years back. These little
yeah.
Godzilla heads,
Yeah.
and making a lot of the Hedorah ones as well, which I think I might have shown off at some point.
Yeah. I saw that one. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm busy at work, and hopefully I can get these out as like merch for the channel, because
Yeah.
I figured a while ago I don't want to be one of those people who do YouTube for the money, if that makes sense, because there's so many
Uh-huh.
people who like at the end of their videos they beg for Patreon and they're always about like the watch time and complaining about like YouTube demonetizing them and all that stuff. And like I get where they're coming from and I always appreciate their content, but that always came like it always rubbed me the wrong way. Like I missed the good old days of YouTube.
Yeah.
So I figured if
Yeah.
like
YouTubers really don't make the money that they used to make, to be honest, you know? So,
yeah,
you know,
but even then, like I miss just YouTubers who weren't doing it for that. Like YouTube used to be a platform where people would just like share videos for fun, and that's kind of always what I've tried to do. So I
yeah.
figured like I can't sustainably do this without it's gaining some sort of revenue for me. So I figured perhaps if I actually do customs and just use YouTube as a way to what's the word? Let people know they exist and
Yeah.
then I'd much rather do that than just, Patreon or put ads or God forbid, be a VPN salesperson or something like that, or a Dollar
Yeah.
Shave Club or...
For me, I mean, I got my toy photography, but I also have a store on TeePublic.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So, I mean, if you look at this is mine.
Yeah,
You
those
know what I
are
mean?
awesome.
Yeah. So, like, I put it like in my videos, like there's a link to my TeePublic store and stuff like that. But I don't like to say, hey guys, if you want, try buy my merch and stuff like that. That supports, you know what I mean? No, like it's
Yeah.
there. It's there. If you like it, great. Thank you. You know what I mean? You don't have to. You know what I mean? I
No,
don't shove it.
I respect that a lot, and your stuff is definitely t-shirt worthy. That's
Yeah. So
really
even
cool,
on
actually.
my I have the link to my TeePublic store, and to be honest, like I've made quite a bit of good money. Like I get the money that I make from TeePublic, and I just buy figures. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't need. You know what I mean? So it's all right, but I don't shove it into anybody's face. Hey, buy my t-shirts, buy my masks or nothing. You know what I mean? I just let people know, hey, it's there. If you want it, there it is. So
Oh, that's awesome. I might have to get one now.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. This one is my best-selling t-shirt. This one
oh,
right.
is it? That would actually be a great poster for the film itself, actually.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like when I made this one. I made this when I made this photo it was when I made the video review for the Jack Specific Godzilla 2019,
Mm-hmm.
and the photo for this, and then I posted it on Instagram, and that exploded. You know what I mean? Like
Wow.
to this day, that's my most liked photo. It's got like over 10,000 likes on that photo, and like my followers, like the count,
Yeah.
just exploded too. You know
Oh,
what I
that's
mean?
great. It's always like you hear about these sort of like breakout things a
Yeah,
lot.
and
And that's really
that
cool
because
you
of
got
that
one.
photo, my Instagram grew to where it's at now because of that photo, that one photo, and yeah, it's incredible. And like a ton of people thought that was the official movie poster.
Wow.
Arguing on in the comments. If you read the comments section, oh, Kong should be bigger, blah 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 blah, and I write, it's just toy photography. It's just my idea, blah blah blah. Oh,
Oh,
good
that's
job.
hilarious.
Yeah, so many people took it seriously. Even adults on the fucking on the Facebook groups. Oh, this isn't that's not very accurate. I go, it's not supposed to be accurate. It's just art. And
Wow.
like, oh, good job, good job, good job.
Well, congratulations, man. That's a really positive sign.
Yeah,
Uh,
so this is like my best selling T-shirt and stuff. I got masks too and stuff.
nice. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
those have been popular these days.
yeah,
Uh, Recently I found out that my most popular video, the one I've got most views on my channel, is probably one of my worst videos, actually. I did a review and this was like in the early days of my channel, back when I had like no screen presence, and I didn't
yeah.
know what the hell I was doing. I mean, I still don't.
I
Like,
still don't know what that I'm doing.
nah. but
Yeah.
that video was just, it's a review of like the King Kong kids show on Netflix. Like I
Oh,
don't even remember what it's called, but I did like a
what?
20
What?
minutes of me like deadpan being like, and so I watched this show and it was okay, and like the characters are this, and then they changed up the design in the last season. I didn't like that. And that I hate it that when I actually click on like the sequence thing on YouTube, where you can change it from newest video to most popular, that's the first one.
Yeah,
Oh, because I don't, that's yeah, but you
yeah.
can't control these things. But I just don't know why that one.
Yeah, I don't know what my most popular video is. I think my most watched one is the King Ghidorah one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think something like that. But yeah,
yeah, but again, I mean, this is all hobby things and stuff. Like I don't like what you said. Like I just don't feel comfortable asking people for Patreon and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you know,
likewise.
yeah, like people. I mean, the way things are in the world and stuff like that. People need money because
Yeah,
like.
there's more important things.
Yeah, man. So good luck on that. You know what I mean? But like, I mean, no disrespect to people that do Patreon and
No,
stuff, but
I agree, because like I know how much effort people put into making the content, even like stuff that you wouldn't imagine, like
yeah,
like doing proper editing. Like to this day, I still use Windows Movie Maker just because I don't really feel like it's a lot of time and effort to like learn a new program, and like I just want something that works fast because it takes a long time to edit stuff down.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, kudos to those people who actually put in that effort and coming up with ideas and stuff like that.
yeah. I know. Like the like a couple, what was it, 2 weeks ago? There was that Cyber Kaiju event. Sal Ultrazilla. He asked me
Uh-huh.
he asked me to do a video, so I did the toy photography class and stuff like that, and people really like that, you know. And
Yeah.
I thought about doing more videos like that, you know what I mean? But like, I just sometimes there are days where I just don't want to do anything, you know what I mean? Like I just don't want to. Like I have these two guys
Yeah.
that came in, but like I just don't feel like it, you know what I mean? Maybe I'll do a toy photography of these guys later, but I just yeah,
No,
there are days.
I get what you mean, because like whenever you're on camera, it's a performance.
Yeah,
You gotta actually
yeah.
do stuff. It's not as simple as you might think sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. So I don't know, man. It is what it is. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, yeah. So until next time, like we'll see what else, what other news comes up. You know what I mean? Then we'll be back here to talk about it and stuff. You know what I
Hopefully
mean?
we get some good news, because as of late, like with the whole NECA thing and all that, it's all been fairly downhill.
Yeah, yeah. And like the toy leaks from Jack Specific and things. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just like I get it. Like I told you, like my worst fears about that movie look like it might be coming
Yeah.
true.
I kind of had that expectation going in.
Yeah.
Like I never this whole Legendary series, I might have had kind of low expectations for it, just because
Uh-huh.
I rarely have very positive expectations for, say, like a Japanese franchise being adapted into like the Western market. It rarely works out, and with studios like Legendary, I don't know, I pictured it going the way of, say, Pacific Rim 2 from the beginning, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
considering how it's been going, they haven't been doing too bad.
No,
So I just want an entertaining movie. I want them to be,
I'm excited for it, but the thing though is like from a general audience standpoint,
yeah.
I think I can't see the general audience. Like my wife is the general audience, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Hardcore. My wife's the general audience. The minute she sees a NECA Godzilla on screen or King Kong wielding an axe trying to chop Godzilla's face off with it, she'll be like, "What? Like, what am I looking?"
Yeah, yeah,
So that's my concern. Like for me as a fan, okay, sure, that's freaking cool. But
yeah.
for the general audience, like I'm thinking from that perspective. You know what I mean? Because
I hope they market it well to the general audience too, because
yeah, because that's what happened with King of the Monsters. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It was marketed for the hardcore fan. You know what I mean? And like the general audience really didn't bite at it. You
Mm.
know what I mean?
The strange
So
thing is, I took my girlfriend to see that movie, and she is not a fan of Godzilla or anything like that, and she actually really loved that movie. She had a great time, surprisingly.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I feel like it was the advertising and stuff was a bit weak for that one. Because I think
yeah.
general audiences, if they gave it a go, might have had a better experience.
My mother-in-law loved that movie. Like
Oh,
when we
really?
that
That's
movie was
awesome.
myself, my wife, and my mother-in-law, and we got the gold seat tickets, right? So it
Nice.
couch these huge seats. You know what I mean? So you just
Yeah.
kick back, you take your shoes off. They bring you whatever food you order. That's how.
I saw The Shape of Water in one of those cinemas, and that was
Oh
great.
yeah.
We got like chips and stuff.
Yeah, we kicked back and like but before that, like I showed my mother-in-law because my wife she went off on a trip to New Zealand. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So then my mother-in-law she came and she stayed over for a couple of days, you know, just to help me look after the dogs and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. I was showing her Godzilla 2014, Pacific Rim, and all
Yeah.
that. Like she was like, "Oh my God, this is so good!" Right? And then I showed her the trailer to King of the Monsters. She's go, oh, "I want to go see that movie." you know. And
Wow.
then like we took my mother-in-law to see that movie, and she absolutely loved that movie. Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's really cool.
yeah,
Very
so
surprising. So you saw it in Taiwan, I imagine, and
yeah.
did they screen them in English with subtitles?
Yeah, it's in English with Chinese subtitles.
Ah,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Like the movie experience here in Taiwan, it's pretty good. I mean, we have big size theaters and stuff. You know what I mean? It's just the food. Like compared to back home in Canada, like you could get like a huge plate of nachos with
Uh-huh.
cheese and that, but they don't really have the sort of condiments that they have, here in Taiwan compared back to Canada. Like in Canada, like in the movie theater, there's Taco Bell, there's McDonald's,
Oh,
there's Burger
wow.
King. You bring that into the movie theater, you get freaking eat Burger King while you're watching a movie, which is so cool. But
When I saw Shin Godzilla for the first time, I snuck a bowl of ramen into the cinema, so I had a great time.
yeah, man, like it was the anniversary of Shin Godzilla not too long
Yeah,
ago.
it was.
Uh,
I'm kind of
I
bummed out I didn't make a video about that because it's one of my favorite movies. But
yeah, I wanted to make a toy photography based on that, but like again, like I was in the hospital and stuff like that.
yeah,
I
no,
just
rest
felt
up,
weird.
dude.
And yeah, like I'll make things that I want to make, not because I feel like, oh, I have to make this for this day or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like working like that. You know what I mean? So, but I remember like it was like one of those things on my bucket list. Watch a Godzilla movie in Japan,
Oh,
and
awesome.
it was quite an experience because like I got to be in a Japanese theater with Japanese people,
Wow.
and when the credits start rolling, I get up and I look, and no one's getting up. Everybody's sitting tight. You know what I mean?
That
And
was
they're
me during that movie, and I saw it 6 times in theater. I stayed till the end every single time because I
what?
love that Ifukube music.
Oh no! Like I got out and everybody was still. You know what I mean? So I like tiptoed out of the movie theater and things. And like mind you, this isn't in just Japanese. Like there's no English in it whatsoever.
Yeah, that
And there's
must have
certain
been
parts of
surreal.
they start speaking English, and then like it caught me off guard. Like what? Did you just speak English?
Yeah.
The first time I saw that movie, I really didn't understand where the movie was coming from, so I didn't like it as much. I like it much more now,
Uh-huh.
but I didn't like it as much then, you know. But I like it much more now.
When I first saw it, I had no idea what to think.
Yeah.
But honestly, I fell in love with that movie pretty quickly after seeing it a couple more times. Because I knew some of the context of that film where it was coming from, and I read in a lot into all the dialogue and all that stuff that was going on, and
Yeah.
I was also coming at it from a place of being jaded by the 2014 film. I was still bitter about it because everyone that's watched my channel knows that I occasionally go on rants about that film, and I have great respect for 2014, and I think it did some things amazingly,
Yes.
but I felt like it shot itself in the foot in so many ways. So I went in to see Shin Godzilla being like, please at least be better than that film. And I felt
Uh-huh.
like they almost consciously, because I know that the director, Hideaki Anno, didn't like 2014, and I felt like there was some really subtle ways where it did a lot of what 2014 did, but it improved it or did it in its own way to show how it could be done. Like it
Yeah.
was a movie that had a CGI Godzilla, but he felt so much more like Godzilla, at least from the way I felt about it. It actually felt like a suit, a classic sort of Godzilla. It also was a film that had Godzilla have very little screen time, but it made Godzilla feel incredibly present during the whole film.
Uh-huh.
And just a whole bunch of stuff like that kept layering on that it almost felt intentional to me, and I really liked that about that film.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I instantly kind of had an affinity with it because of that, but also just you could tell the people who made it really tried. They really cared about the character, and they really wanted to make the best film that they absolutely could, and that there was competence behind it.
Here's a question for you. If you could go back to fix 2014, what were some of the things that you would fix to make that
I've been I've been thinking about this for a long time, but like the first thing that instantly comes to mind is don't kill off Bryan Cranston's character, because I love the beginning of that film. So no
Yes.
matter that's what annoys me the most, because no matter how many times I come back to that film with the lowest of expectations, the moment I start watching it, I'm like, oh my god, this is so good. Like I'm utterly enjoying the first act of this movie. It is paced beautifully. The character development is great. Bryan Cranston steals the show. Now I came into that movie not knowing who he was. I wasn't a Breaking Bad fan until after
Uh-huh.
2014, so I wasn't even like one of the Cranston fanboys back then. But when I first saw him, I'm like, I love this character. This dude's great.
Yeah.
And so then he dies, and we're
Yeah.
left
Not even
with
halfway. You know what I mean? Like it was like early on. Like the thing was, it's like they showed him in the trailers. You know what I mean?
yeah, the
So
trailers were great actually.
the trailers are fantastic. So like if you're gonna have like I remember watching Angry Joe on YouTube and he ranted big about this
Yes.
too. And I kind of agree with him. Like if you're gonna have Bryan Cranston, he's like the strongest actor in this whole cast of characters, you know what I mean? He's present in the trailers and stuff like that. Use him for the rest of the movie. You
Absolutely.
know what I
I
mean? Like
I was
when they zipped them up in that body bag, I was
uh
like, what?
I can't
I
watch that movie
not,
without feeling like legitimately upset when that happens.
yeah,
Not just because like the character in the movie dies, oh sad. It's more just like the movie dies for me at that point.
yeah,
And that's why I feel sad, because I was in love with the first act of this film. Like if the Monsterverse had been that
yeah,
like grounded tension and like genuinely like really good movie characters throughout
yeah,
the whole thing, I think it could have been like one of the greatest eras of
yeah,
Godzilla, like hands down. But then then they kill him off, and we're left with the most bland character I honestly could even imagine. And I've heard all sorts of like people trying to say, oh, he's not so bad, it's realistic. I've seen military characters done so much better in other films, and they've
yeah,
been realistic. And it's like, even if this is a monster movie, like you could, you have the creativity and the freedom to focus on anything you want.
yeah,
There's no excuse for making your characters boring, even if it is realistic.
yeah,
And and
yeah. Because
I
like when
disengaged from the film at that point.
exactly, because the thing is like you're seeing Bryan Cranston in the trailers and stuff like that. He's viewed prominently, so you're expecting for that character to be in that movie, but then
Yeah.
only in the first arc, and then he's dead. You know what I mean? So then like the heart and soul of that, you know, the character with the most heart, the most, you know what I mean, the most
He was
motivation,
driving that movie at first.
and then he was taken out, and then we're left with his son, which really didn't have, you know what I mean? Like they try to do it like, oh my wife, you know, my wife and my
Yeah.
kid in the city and stuff like that, but that wasn't really executed well. You know what
Like
I mean? Like
I love the
to the
madness of
side,
Cranston's character, that he's just the kind of the conspiracy theory dude, and it just was pulled off so well. It was so interesting, like when they went into that overgrown section of the city and all that like conspiratorial stuff, and just like the connection to his wife, and just that was so good. Like that in itself is like its own little contained film that I love.
yeah,
And then to have the rest of the film, like, I don't know, I almost felt like if they didn't have that beginning, the film would, like, overall I would have felt less bad about the
uh-huh.
film, because I felt like my expectations wouldn't have been sort of toyed with. It's this really weird thing where the film is, as a whole, I felt worse about it because it had better elements, but I guess that's just a twisted way of looking at it, that the film let me down later on.
Yeah.
But I was kind of worried that that would happen, because I watched Monsters, which was Gareth Edwards' first movie,
I remember.
before seeing that film, and I hated it.
Oh, really?
I was so bored
It
by
didn't
the
do any-
characters.
it didn't do anything for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like kudos to the dude. He did phenomenal with, again, shot composition and the CGI effects. Apparently he basically did the whole thing on his laptop himself, which is
Oh,
amazing. But the dude just can't do characters, and I feel like I love character driven movies.
yeah,
And I love the idea of like movies like Alien and Jaws with the suspense, because he built the suspense well, but I, d- I don't think he was the one to do that. Like I felt if it was executed better, that would have been a great idea. But like you need something to juxtapose that's actually also interesting as well. You need the characters to back up that kind of a approach. Because if
yeah,
the movie were like had Cranston's character continue that energy throughout the whole thing, I wouldn't have been bothered by the monsters taking a sideline to that, or Godzilla especially,
yeah,
which is you know how there's like that common criticism of the movie that a lot of people were like, oh, there's not enough Godzilla, and there's this whole argument online about people saying, well, that's not the biggest issue here, and stuff like that, and that like there's all these other films that have like about the same amount of screen time, and people talk about literally the minutes of screen time. I
yeah,
think all of that is people are looking at it from the wrong perspective. It's not about like the specific minutes of screen time or like that it should have had more Godzilla. I think that's just people look at a movie like this and they intrinsically know that that these segments with the bland character is boring, and because it's difficult to write an interesting character, they feel like they kind of subconsciously know that, so they feel that the simplest way to make this movie better is to put in more Godzilla, and I think that's why
yeah.
that criticism happens. But personally, I would just make Cranston the lead, maybe give Ken Watanabe more screen time and more of a role here.
Yeah, because I
That
thought like
that's
I
that's
thought they
it.
were teaming up. You know what I mean? Like I was anticipating that they were going to team up and things. You know what I mean? And it would make more sense if one of them, Bryan Cranston, dies at the end of the movie,
Yeah.
not early in the beginning. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like I like the movie, but I can admit that it has its problems.
No,
You know what I mean?
I appreciate that some people even love this movie, and I can see why,
Yeah,
because I love that grounded approach.
yeah,
Sorry, my voice is going. But as it is, jeez, as it is, it's actually like when I think of all the Godzilla movies, it's the one that I have like the only one that I have like legitimate negative feelings towards. So I have this weird relationship with it, whereas I feel like it does like some things I absolutely love about it, but there's so much in there that felt like so obviously they could have improved
right.
that I just feel negative about it, and it puts it under in my like list of films under films that are like objectively bad, like Son of Godzilla, or
Well, what about
like
the
the
animated movie?
I I actually like the anime more than most people.
Really?
Yeah, it's
I love the art style, but like,
I've mixed feelings about the art style, but I love some of the design work in it, and
yeah,
I just love the creativity in it. Like the thing
yeah,
is, that film didn't upset my expectations in the same way that 2014 did, where like I could see so much competence in it, but then it just had this critical point where like the whole thing kind of fell apart, and the anime just consistently like I loved it conceptually. I thought it
yeah.
was really cool that they were playing with this new idea, and the universe was really interesting, and I felt like they didn't explore it well enough, and like of course like the characters needed more work, and like the action was
It was too slow. Like they
yeah.
needed. It was. You know what? Like the first one I liked. The first part I liked. Second part, I was struggling to keep myself awake.
Yeah.
Third, I was really struggling to keep myself awake for that one. You know what I mean?
I think that I actually like the third one. I'm not sure which one I like the most, but I'm leaning towards the third one actually, because the first one, I really love the ending of it when Godzilla actually shows up. I thought that was really impactful when like the huge Godzilla shows up. But the
Yeah.
rest of that film was kind of plain for me. But the third one, I actually really like the idea of like Noodle Ghidorah coming from this other dimension, all that stuff. And I found the tribe of like the Mothra
Yeah.
worshipping people really interesting, and I really like the dynamic with Metphies, that like alien, the effeminate alien dude. It was
Yeah,
like
he
a
was an
main.
interesting. I liked him.
Yeah, I like that, and I felt like I kept joking in my reviews of it that there was like this sexual tension between him and Haruo, which I found really funny.
Yeah.
But so I got a lot of enjoyment out of it, but it's far from what I would like as a Godzilla anime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like the thing though, like for me, like Godzilla Earth is awesome, but except for that one shot when you see him, he's standing there and he's watching the ships fly away.
yeah,
You don't ever get a sense again of how big Godzilla Earth is. You
I
know what I mean?
agree. Yeah,
They 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 really didn't pull off the sense of scale for Godzilla Earth, in my opinion, too well. You know what I mean?
because he
Like
is so massive.
it's supposed to be massive, you know what I mean? But like you kind of don't get that sense though, you know what I mean? Like if they would have made him walk next to like destroyed buildings or something like that,
Absolutely. Yeah.
like round up like where he's walking and stuff like that, just to get a sense of how massive this creature is, you know what I mean? I think that would have sold that Godzilla. I think that would have sold the movie a little bit more, but we never get it. Like in 2014, that's one thing I absolutely love about that movie is because you get a sense of Godzilla's scale.
Agreed.
But like they really didn't do it too well in the anime, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, that's just
it,
because the landscape, they really dumbed it down. It's just trees. And
yeah,
the thing is, I really wanted them to explore the planet more. Because
yeah,
what I wanted was for them to do something like Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. You know that
uh-huh.
the Studio Ghibli film. That jungle
Okay,
in that movie is so interesting, so beautiful, and the creatures in it are just fascinating.
uh-huh.
And you really get a good sense of it there. And they had the potential in that anime to really show off this bizarre monster planet. And
Yeah,
instead we get really like basic looking bland trees and then just the servum creatures occasionally. And I feel like there's so much potential in that universe because I really
yeah,
liked it conceptually. I like all the existential stuff in there that they threw in and all
yeah,
that. So I don't know, maybe if they did a manga adaptation they could improve it
yeah.
or something like that.
When Godzilla was in Mecha Godzilla City, like
Yeah.
I had no sense of scale of Godzilla's size at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they just they didn't execute that the scaling of Godzilla well at all. So I don't know, man. But
No,
anyways, how long?
I agree.
Yeah,
Because, like, if you've got the Monster Arts figure of Godzilla Earth, which comes with, like, the tiny version of Phileas or whatever he's called, the small version of him, that one's meant to be 50 meters tall, the same size as your classic Godzillas. And
yes,
just to see that scale, like, with the figure, you're like, whoa, this thing is really just, like, insanely proportioned, like,
yeah,
literally the size of a mountain. But
yeah,
I do agree. There's nothing to reference the scale of him, and there was so much lacking potential in like the fight with Ghidorah at the end. He just basically like did that a couple of times,
yeah.
shot
That's
his
it.
laser. But
Yeah,
so
and it moved
I felt like
slow.
if they added a bit more like actual monster fighting potentially,
Yeah,
and maybe delved into the like exploring the landscape more, then I could have overlooked like a lot of the sort of stuff with the people that was a little bit boring and stuff like that. But I still like it more than most people actually.
yeah, okay, yeah. Totally cool. Anyways, how long we been going on now?
uh, like 2 hours now, so I think that's actually a pretty good
Yeah.
length.
Alrighty, cool. Yeah, 'cause I gotta get going because my wife needs my help something downstairs. So.
Oh yeah, no worries. I gotta get to stuff as well. So,
All right, buddy. Yeah. So let's stop there and
mm,
Yeah, next time something comes up, I mean, we're in constant touch anyways too.
Definitely, yeah. So again, thank you so much for taking the time out, especially with your whole nose thing and just like, you don't have much free time these days by the sounds of it. So I really
Yeah,
appreciate taking this time out, and
you're welcome, buddy. You're welcome.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have fun doing this. You know what I mean? Like I really get to do to talk Godzilla with anybody. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No,
This is pretty.
it's
Yeah,
it's just a good release of all the stuff that you kind of think that you don't really have anyone to talk to about. So it's
yeah,
really cool. It's
yeah,
therapeutic, I think, is the word I was
yeah.
looking for. So it was a
Totally.
lot of fun on my end too.
Yeah. All right, buddy. So thank you so much for letting me come onto the show again.
Oh,
And
it's my pleasure. Thanks for being here. And thank you, all you guys watching, for taking the time to check out this podcast. Hopefully we'll have another one soon. We've got
yeah,
a,
until
yeah.
something whatever comes up the pipeline that will, that's worthy of talking about, we'll do that, I
Yeah,
guess.
hopefully good news, because we're getting,
Or we'll see.
we'll see.
Yeah.
So that is it for this episode, guys. See you in the next one. Peace out.
Take care.
Bye.